Category 1A Agricultural Weed Management Exam Case. Why must glyphosate be applied to foliage? It tightly binds to soil colloids and has no soil activity. Interfere with electron transfer, a process required for photosynthesis. Photosystem 2 inhibitor, PS2. Annual weeds are most easily controlled in the and become more difficult to control as they mature. Seedling stage. True/false, herbicides may have more than one site of absorption. True. Hypocotyl is reddish to purple. Cotyledons are hairless and kidney or butterfly-shaped. True leaves are alternate and heart-shaped. Petioles are long, hairless to hairy, often with purplish patches. Leaf petioles have a membranous sheath called an ochrea that surrounds the stem at the base. Petioles and stems are hairless. Pennsylvania smartweed. Weeds complete their life cycle in 1 year and reproduce primarily by seeds. Annual. The herbicide is applied to a part of the plant where it can be absorbed, called the and then moves to the site of action. Site of absorption or site of uptake. Crop seed should be weed-free with a rapid and good to promote canopy formation as quickly as possible after planting. High germination percentage, rapid emergence and good seedling vigor. What are the two categories of annual weeds? Summer annual, warm season, winter annual, cool season. Ligula's fringe of hairs. Leaf blade and sheath are densely hairy. Leaves have a prominent leaf midrib. Witchgrass. Hypocotyl is hairless and light green to purple tinged. Cotyledons are shiny beneath and covered with scattered minute granules above. They leave a raised, narrow, kidney-shaped scar when shed. Cotyledons and true leaves are thick and elliptic to lanceolate. True leaves are opposite and have a waxy appearance, prominent whitish midveins, and pointed tips. Leaf undersurface may be hairy. Petioles and stems may be rough or have short hairs. Leaves and stems exude a milky sap when bruised. Common milkweed. Preparation of a good seedbed with will kill existing weeds, providing the crop an even start with the weeds. Tillage. Proper of pastures are critical to avoid overgrazing of forages, which reduces the competitiveness of the desired species. Stocking rates. A common cause of inadequate control is insufficient after herbicide application, which is necessary to move the herbicide into the zone where weed seeds germinate. Rainfall. Name common perennial broadleaf weeds. Hemp dogbane, common milkweed, Canada thistle, field bindweed. Ligule is hair-like. Leaf blade is hairless and finely veined with rough margins. Leaf sheath is hairless to sparsely hairy, often with a row of hairs along the margin of the sheath. Green foxtail. Incorporating small grains or forages into a rotation will interrupt the life cycle of weeds and reduce the likelihood of summer annual weeds completing their life cycle. Fall planted. act on specific enzymes to prevent the production of certain amino acids. Amino acid synthesis inhibitors. Leaves are smooth and hairless. Stem is triangular, solid, and nodeless. Plant is pale green to yellow in color and usually very glossy. Reproduces by seeds, rhizomes, and small tubers. Yellow nutsedge. The most effective control methods are typically chosen based on the _______ of a weed. Life cycle. Linear leaves similar to grasses but are in a different family. Sedges. Hypocotyl is occasionally mottled red or purple. Cotyledons are hairless and leave a raised elliptic scar when shed. True leaves are opposite and hairless to occasionally sparsely hairy on the lower surface. Leaves are elliptic to lanceolate with a blunt tip. Petioles are absent or very short. Leaves and stems exude a milky sap when bruised. Hemp dogbane. Name common annual broadleaf weeds. Velvet leaf, redroot pigweed, common water hemp, common ragweed, giant ragweed, common lamb's quarters, ivyleaf morninglary, tall morninglary, Pennsylvania smartweed, eastern black nightshade, common cocklebur. What is the first step to successful management of weed resistance? Understanding where herbicides act within the plant, site of action. True/false, use of ALS inhibitors can take up to several weeks for plants to die. True. Disrupt an enzyme important in nitrogen metabolism and the formation of glutamine, an amino acid. Glutamine synthetase inhibitors. Hypocotyl is hairless and purplish. Cotyledons are hairless, wavy, oval to ovate with a notched tip, and attached by long petioles. True leaves are spade-shaped, alternate, dark green, shiny and hairless. Leaf petioles are long and hairless. The stems have a vine-like growth habit. Field bindweed. Finger-like projections of the blade that extend around the shoot at the collar. Auricles. Describe glyphosate. Foliar-absorbed herbicide fast-acting and non-selective, not readily translocated within the plant. Name examples of PS2 inhibitors. Bentazone, bromoxynil, linuron and herbicides in the triazine family, atrazine, simazine, and metribuzin. Cotyledons are oar-shaped. First true leaves are lance-shaped with a slight notch at the tip. Seedlings are very smooth and the plants remain hairless. Common water hemp. What are some symptoms of EPS inhibitors? Wilting leaves which turn brown and die, lateral growth in broadleaf plants or tillering in grass plants, yellowing or chlorosis. True/false, most common grass weeds in Iowa do not have auricles. True. What is an example of a EPS inhibitor? Glyphosate. The most effective chemical control of perennial weeds usually involves a __________herbicide that will translocate within the plant. Systemic. The site of absorption may be the ____________, root, shoot, or leaves. Hypocotyl is hairless. Cotyledons are hairless, fleshy, waxy, lanceolate, and narrow where they join the stem. True leaves are rough-textured and ovate with rounded tips and toothed margins. The first true leaves are opposite, and subsequent leaves are alternate. Petioles are long and rough. Stems are usually covered with dark spots. Common cocklebur. Long auricles may cross one another and clasp the stem, as in underscore 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 underscore. Quackgrass. Ligule is hair-like. Leaf blade is hairy above with hairs about the length of the ligule covering the entire upper surface. The underside of the blade is sparsely hairy, often with a row of hairs along the margins. Giant foxtail. Where can seeds of small grasses be found? Seeds will remain attached to the root of small grasses and can be found by gently digging the seedling from the soil. Grass seedlings are distinguished from one another by differences in their underscore 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 and underscore 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 underscore. Leaf blades, leaf sheaths, ligules, and auricles. Perennials are classified as either underscore 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 or underscore 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 underscore. Woody or herbaceous. Ligule is very short and hair-like. Leaf blade is densely covered on both the upper and lower surface with extremely short dense hairs that give the plant a soft, woolly feel. One leaf blade edge is often crinkled. Leaf sheath is densely covered with very short hairs. First leaf is wide and lays parallel to soil surface. Woolly cupgrass. Name common annual grasses. Large crabgrass, barnyard grass, woolly cupgrass, witchgrass, fall panicum, giant foxtail, yellow foxtail, green foxtail, shatter cane. For assistance in selecting and using the appropriate herbicides, refer to the annually revised publication called What? Herbicide Guide for Iowa Corn and Soybean Production. Mowing will not control underscore 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 dash underscore 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 weeds or weeds that form underscore 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 and may even favor these weeds by reducing competition from upright plants. Low-growing weeds rosettes. What crops do winter annuals cause problems in? Fall-seeded crops, winter wheat, early spring grains, oats, forages, pastures, no-till corn and soybean fields. Name an example of a simple perennial. Dandelion. When is rotary hoeing most effective? After the seeds have germinated but are still in the white root stage. Hypocotyl is dark purplish and hairless. Cotyledons are ovate with a pointed tip. The upper surface is sparsely hairy, and the underside is often purplish. True leaves are alternate and ovate with a wavy to toothed margin and a pointed tip. The upper surface is smooth to sparsely hairy, the lower surface is often purplish. Petioles are purplish and sparsely hairy. Leaves frequently have small holes due to feeding of flea beetles. Eastern black nightshade. Located on the inner side of the leaf blade and appears as an extension of the sheath at its intersection with the blade. Hair-like or membranous and vary in length and shape. Ligule. What is the most common type of annual in tilled fields and annual row crops? Summer annual. Most grasses have a ligule except for underscore 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 underscore. Barnyard grass. Ligule is hair-like. Leaf blade is hairless except for very long, whitish hair, much longer than the ligule, on the upper surface only at the base of the blade. Leaf sheath is hairless. The sheath of a plant with several leaves is flattened and sometimes reddish near the soil surface. Yellow foxtail. Weeds can have detrimental effects on crop production as they compete with the crop for underscore 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 and underscore 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 underscore. Moisture, nutrients, light and space. What managerial factors influence herbicide effectiveness? Tillage practices, depth of planting, time of planting, and time and method of application. Perennials typically have above-ground plant parts that can overwinter, whereas perennials regrow each season from underground overwintering structures. Woody herbaceous. Encloses the bud shoot and is connected to the leaf blade at the collar. Leaf sheath. Conservation tillage systems may favor weeds that germinate near the soil surface rather than large-seeded weeds that can germinate from deeper depths. Small-seeded. What speed and depth should a rotary hoe be operated at? A speed and depth so that existing weeds are dislodged but the deeper planted crop is not injured. Strategies encompass a variety of practices with the objective of providing the best environment and conditions for optimum crop growth. Cultural control. Hypocotyl is stout, reddish near the soil surface, and hairy. Cotyledons are hairless and kidney or butterfly shaped. Tour leaves are alternate, very hairy, 3 to 5-lobed, and ivy-shaped. Petioles are long and hairy. The stems have a vine-like growth habit by the 3-leaf stage. Ivy leaf morninglory. Leaf sheath may be hairless or have sparse short hairs. Auricles are long and slender. They are not present on plants emerging from seed until several weeks after germination and may be difficult to discern on older leaves because they are sometimes worn off. Produces smooth, white, creeping rhizomes. Quackgrass. A weed can be defined as plant out of place. Perennial weeds can reproduce by by seed or vegetatively. Perennial weeds are also classified as perennials that spread only by seed or as perennials that can reproduce and spread vegetatively. Simple creeping. What are the symptoms from glutamine synthetase inhibitors? Yellow spots or lesions that turn brown, resulting in dead tissue. Since photosynthesis relies on light, photosynthesis inhibitors herbicides only start working once the plants have emerged or are exposed to light. Starting with seedbed is important to ensure that the crop is not at a competitive disadvantage with established weeds. Weed-free. Seedlings have a red taproot. Hypocotyl is reddish to purple. Cotyledons are long and narrow, typically with reddish midveins and undersides. True leaves are alternate and ovate with notched tips and purple to pinkish midveins and undersides. As seedlings mature, the stem becomes hairy. Red-drip pigweed. Biennial weeds are typically a problem only in areas because they cannot complete their life cycle in a single growing season. Untilled. This factor should be considered when using soil-applied herbicides since crop residue can intercept and sometimes with the distribution of soil-applied herbicides. Interfere. Refers to a group of herbicides that have similar chemical structures, will have the same mode of action and typically the same site of action, although they may or may not have the same site of absorption. Herbicide family. Adding a perennial crop such as alfalfa will further disrupt the life cycle and reproduction of annual weeds, although it might favor ______ and _____ weeds. Biennial and perennial weeds. Rotary hoeing also can be used to break up ___________, thus helping the crop emerge. Soil crusts. What environmental factors influence herbicide effectiveness? Rainfall, temperature, and relative humidity. Ligule is hair-like. Leaf blades and sheath are usually hairless. Leaf blades are dull above and glossy below. Leaves on older plants often have reddish sheaths and prominent white midveins. Nodes on mature plants are swollen. Fall panicum. The target protein for the herbicide is referred to as the _________________________________________________________________________________________________________________rows enhance the competitiveness of the crop by promoting early canopy development. Narrow. When should mowing be done to ensure that no viable seed will be produced? Mowing to remove the flowers should be done as soon as the buds appear on the plant. Hypocotyl is shiny and purple at the base. Cotyledons are fleshy, hairless, and spoon-shaped. True leaves are opposite, rough, hairy, and deeply 3 or 5 lobed with long petioles. Occasionally, plants have leaves with no lobes. Giant ragweed. Why should deep tillage operations near planting time be avoided? Avoid because they bring buried weed seeds to the surface. When is chemical control of biennials most effective? When applied to seedling or during the rosette stage before the stem elongates. Interfere with a plant's ability to convert carbon dioxide to carbohydrates using solar energy. Photosynthesis inhibitors. Weeds are usually best adapted to survival in crops that have a similar life cycle, germination time, or growth habit. Name an example of a glutamine synthetase inhibitor. Glyphosate. Hypocotyl is pale green. Cotyledons are thick and dull with a shiny midvein on the undersurface. True leaves are wavy and elliptic. Leaf margins vary from irregular and deeply cut or spiny-toothed to almost smooth with few or no spines. Canada thistle. Hypocotyl is hairless and purple to dark green. Cotyledons are club-shaped with a rounded apex. True leaves are opposite and finely divided with many lobes, giving the plant a lacy appearance. Petioles are long and hairy. Common ragweed. Conservation tillage and no-till systems allow more to remain on the soil surface. Crop residue. What do narrow rows prohibit as a weed management tool? Cultivation. Ligule is absent. Leaf blade and sheath are hairless. Once the plant has a few leaves, the leaf sheath is flattened and typically purplish near the base. Barnyard grass. Ligule is membranous, short, and jagged. Leaf blade is broad, pointed, and hairy on upper and lower surface. Leaf sheath is hairy, and as the plant develops, flattened. First leaf is short and wide. Large crabgrass. Ligule is membranous, rounded or blunt and fringed with hairs on margin. Leaf blade is hairless with rough margins. Leaf sheath is hairless and may have a reddish tint near the soil surface as the plant develops. Shatter cane. What are some symptoms of ALS inhibitors? Stunting, yellowing, death of tissue. Act by inhibiting the enzyme acetolactate synthase, ALS. ALS inhibitors. The chain of events or specific metabolic process that causes plant injury or death. Mode of action of a herbicide. Name an example of a creeping perennial. Canada thistle. List different modes of action of herbicides. Amino acid synthesis inhibition, lipid synthesis inhibition, seedling growth inhibition, growth regulator, photosynthesis inhibition, cell membrane disruption, pigment inhibition. Knowing how herbicides affect plants also aids in diagnosing ___________________________________________________________________________________________________________________ Herbicide injury. Hypocotyle is covered with short, soft hairs. Cotyledons are ovate to heart-shaped and have rounded apexes, entire margins, and sparsely hairy surfaces. True leaves are alternate and ovate to heart-shaped with round to acute tips, serrated, sawtoothed, margins, and densely hairy surfaces that give the plant a velvety feel. Velvet leaf.